A warm one here in Walnut Creek, California on the East Bay of the San Francisco Bay Area. A stark contrast from last night where we were freezing over in San Bruno City Park, but now reverse temperature, real warm one here in Walnut Creek. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the broadcast booth. My name is Nate Mills on the call on the SLO Blues Streaming Network, getting you set for the Walnut Creek Crawdads versus the San Luis Obispo Blues. The Blues trying to come out of this series 3-1. They're in the middle of a 4-game road trip in Northern California. They dropped game one in a huge fashion against Menlo Park, dropping that one 14-2. And then right after that, got a big win against the San Francisco Seagulls last night. They won that one 13-1. So polar opposite days for the Blues in terms of weather and in terms of scoring so far in this NorCal trip, and they at least look to even up the weekend series here with 2 games against the Walnut Creek Crawdads. The Crawdads on the other side of the diamond are the hottest team in the CCL right now. They're riding a 5-game winning streak. That's 4 games in a row in conference play, and they played an extra non-con game yesterday, and they won that one. So 5 in a row for Walnut Creek, and everything clicks for the Crawdads ever since they lost game 1 of the summer. They were off to a rough start. They lost game 1 against the Alameda Merchants, and before that, dropped 2 in a row. One against an affiliate team and one against a travel team affiliated with Head First Baseball. They started out the year 0-3, and I think a lot of us in the CCL were reeling and thinking, have the Crawdads exited the chat? Is this a different year for Walnut Creek? They're quickly proving us wrong now with that 5-game winning streak. The Blues are running into an absolute buzzsaw, but not to worry because the vibes are high right now after a dominant win yesterday against the San Francisco Seagulls. The Blues have a lot of momentum coming into today's game, especially with 2 new additions to this lineup. That includes Andrew Raymond and Charlie Caruso, a couple left-handed hitters from Santa Clara and Northwestern, respectively. Got to meet them today in batting practice. A couple of great kids, a lot of power, too. And if you'll see here in a second at Monte Vista High School where this game is being played, it's a short porch out in left field, 325 to both corners. Center field is not labeled, but if you followed the Blues last year, you know that it's a bandbox. Guys hit it out of here frequently. So going to be a big day for offense and a tough challenge for Cooper Bagby, who had a pretty rough outing the last time he pitched for San Luis Obispo, and he desperately needs a bounce back after the way he was unable to locate his pitches for the Blues. Bagby just went an inning against the Sonoma Stompers up in Sonoma. 2 hits, 5 runs, 3 of them earned with 2 walks and a strikeout. Blues kind of kicking the balls around. There was some hit by pitches. There was some walks from Cooper Bagby. Barely got out of the first inning. And so against this team, against this Walnut Creek team that is swinging the bats better than anyone in the conference, that's a tall order for Cooper Bagby, and we can expect perhaps Sean York and Jaden Turner to come out of the bullpen for the Blues, a couple of high-velocity arms to maybe clean up the mess, but the bats have got to get going first. They're on a right trajectory right now. Of course, a bad game against the Menlo Park Legends in that first game of this 4-game road trip, but then they bounced back well. San Francisco Seagulls caught a lot of barrels yesterday, including a home run from E.J. Royal, a double from Don Jordan, a double from Sam Ardois, and singles scattered all across the lineup. Every hitter, except for one, got a base hit in yesterday against the San Francisco Seagulls. So they're feeling good. This is one of the better playing surfaces that the Blues have played on outside of Sinsheimer Stadium. That's not College of San Mateo because that was all turf. Real nice setup here at Monte Vista High School. The Crawdads got a good field here in Northern California, and the Blues are ready to go. So Cooper Bagby gets the start for San Luis Obispo against a potent Walnut Creek offense, and these Blues bats look to jump early and often on the Dads. Well, that'll wrap it up from here on the Ancient Owl pregame show, and a thank you to everyone watching at Ancient Owl right now, saying hello to you all in the bar right now. Thanks for tuning into this game, and thanks for your continued support of the San Luis Obispo Blues. All right, we'll send it back to the field, and I'll see you very shortly on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. Well, welcome back to Walnut Creek, California. The San Luis Obispo Blues playing their 15th game of the summer. They come into this contest against the Walnut Creek Crawdads with their 10-4 record, 4-3 in conference play. Here's the starting lineup for your San Luis Obispo Blues. E.J. Royal leads it off. He plays center field. Sam Ardois over at the hot corner batting second. Andrew Raymond is the right fielder making his Blues debut, batting third. Don Jordan, the DH, bats cleanup, with Gavin Smith playing left field for the first time this summer, batting fifth. Brendan Comerford over at first base, with Kate O'Hara at short and batting seventh. Charlie Caruso also making his Blues debut, catches and bats eighth, with Kosei Suzuki playing second base and batting ninth. Here's the defensive alignment for the Walnut Creek Crawdads. Clisby behind the dish. Ewins at first with Ellis at second. Leininger at third with Medham at short. In the outfield left to right is Johnson, Jenkins, and Donnelly, with Coupland DHing. Here's E.J. Royal, the first batter for San Luis Obispo this afternoon. Blues are coming off a dominant victory over the San Francisco Seagulls to the tune of 13-1. Royal in yesterday's contest hit a home run to set the tone for the Blues offense. First pitch is a called strike at 4 p.m., 74 degrees and sunny. Now look at that, right on time here from Monte Vista High School in Walnut Creek. This one missing outside. 1-1 strike to E.J. Royal. With that home run, Royal also had a trio of singles, one of them driving in a run. Also hit a sacrifice fly. The 1-1. Royal swings it into a bouncing ball to the shortstop, Medham, who takes a couple shuffles and a throw over to first. Barely beats out Royal for the first out of the inning. A quick out here for the Walnut Creek Crawdads, and it brings up Sam Ardois. And Ardois is having himself a pretty fun summer so far with the Blues. Had a couple of struggles last season in San Luis Obispo and last year at the University of Louisiana Lafayette, but he's found his stroke here in San Luis Obispo, and it's been really fun to watch. First pitch to him, and Ardois takes a four-seamer on the outer half for strike one. Sam starting in his fifth game of the summer for San Luis Obispo. 7 hits in his 19 at-bats, good for a .368 batting average. Here's the pitch, and Ardois hits it off the end of the bat, and a lazy fly to the second baseman Ellis, who makes a one-handed squeeze for the second out of the inning. 2 quick outs here for Walnut Creek, and that'll bring up Andrew Raymond. So here's Raymond, the first time in a Blues uniform, making his debut. He's a Bronco from Santa Clara University. First pitch to him misses high, 1 no strikes. Raymond, one of the 2 left-handed hitters in today's lineup, standing in at 6'5", 215 pounds. 1-0. Raymond with a big swing and a miss on an elevated four-seamer for a strike. 1-1 to the Spokane, Washington native. Spent his first season at Santa Clara last year. Didn't go exactly to plan, batting south of 200. Did have 2 homers, though, as an off-speed misses outside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Andrew Raymond. And 16 hits his first season playing college baseball with the Broncos. 2 homers, 2 doubles for the kid. Here's the 2-1. And Raymond leaves a four-seamer high. 3 balls and a strike now to Andrew Raymond. Don Jordan stands on deck for the Blues. Raymond making his Blues debut. The pitch. And that one's a called strike just in there. Fills it up at 3 balls and 2 strikes. And honestly, I don't blame you, Raymond, in tossing his bat into the on-deck circle. I thought that was below the zone for sure. So he'll retrieve his stick and head back into the back of the left-handed batter's box on the full count. The payoff pitch. And Raymond leaves that outside. There's ball 4. First plate appearance with the Blues, and it's a 2-out walk for Andrew Raymond. So now that'll bring up Don Jordan, who DH'd yesterday. He came in and was replaced by Spencer Gallimore in the 7th inning. Before that, Jordan had himself a day to the tune of 2 for 4, a double, a single, 2 runs scored, and he drove in a run with his double. First pitch to him misses low for ball 1. Jordan in game 1 of this 4-game road trip got hit in the forearm with a pitch, and kind of a scary moment as he had to come out and Brady Alves replaced him, but he was okay yesterday against the Seagulls. Jordan takes a strike on the outer half. 1-1 to Don Jordan with a runner on first base and 2 outs. And Gavin Smith stands on deck for the Blues. An off day yesterday against San Francisco. Now returns to the lineup. Here's the 1-1. Raymond goes to second, and Jordan puts it in play off to the right side of the infield, and it rolls into right for a base hit. Raymond will head into third base. Don Jordan with a 2-out single. First base hit of the day for the Blues. Runners at the corners now with Raymond at third and Jordan at first. It's Gavin Smith, the left fielder for San Luis Obispo. Some 2-out magic here for the Blues as Smith digs in the batter's box. Smith making his 10th start of the summer and 6 hits and his 34 at-bats. First pitch, and Smith watches the four-seamer in there for a strike. Off to a slower start than Smith might have hoped for. But he's got some power, a double and a home run in those 6 hits. The 0-1, and Smith leaves a fastball high. 1 ball and 1 strike to Gavin Smith. Just spent his first season of college baseball across the country at Harvard University. A .214 batting average, 20 games played. 1-1. Jordan heads off to second base, and that's a base hit into right field. It will score Andrew Raymond from third. RBI single, Gavin Smith, and the Blues strike first. 1-0, San Luis Obispo. A little 2-out rally here. Back-to-back base hits brings Don Jordan over to third base and Gavin Smith to first. Raymond cashes in the first run of the day. So here's Comerford now. First pitch to Comerford is foul tipped into the mid of Clidsby for strike 1. Comerford was a late addition to Dean Trainor's lineup yesterday. Zach Tollerman, with a nagging ankle injury, was a late scratch, and Comerford replaced him. 0-1. Now runner takes off to second, and an easy stolen base for Gavin Smith. So Don Jordan at third and Gavin Smith at second. Some speed on the base paths for Brandon Comerford. With 2 outs and 2 runners in scoring position. Here's the pitch. And Comerford pops it up to the right and out of play. 0-2 count to Brandon Comerford. Brendan, the team leader in RBIs with 17. 0-2. And a curveball buckles him up, but it's just too wide. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dangerous take there from Comerford, but he stays alive in the at-bat, 1-2. Team leading 17 RBIs. Second place is Ashlock with 10. The 1-2. Another curveball, but this one misses high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Comerford hit his first extra base hit of the summer on Sunday against the Menlo Park Legends. That home run to dead center at Sinsheimer Stadium. Someone who's known for his slugging numbers. 2-2. Comerford swings and misses for strike 3. 2 runners stranded on second and third, but not before Don Jordan Gavin Smith drives in the first run of the day. Andrew Raymond from third. Blues up 1-0 on the Slow Blues streaming network. Cooper Bagby gets the start for San Luis Obispo, looking for a bounce-back outing after a blow-up start against the Sonoma Stompers, allowing 5 runs and only 3 of them being earned. First batter he faces for Walnut Creek is Trey Johnson. It's Johnson, Jared Medham, then Ryan Ellis do it up for Walnut Creek. Blues scored the first run of the ball game in the top half of the first inning. An RBI single from Gavin Smith drove in Andrew Raymond from third base. Here's the first pitch to Johnson, and it's a called strike on the outer half for strike 1. In that last outing, Cooper Bagby this summer, making his second start for the Blues, his 4th appearance, has pitched in 4 innings. From the windup, pitch is hit on the ground off to the right. Suzuki charges it, throws it over to first in time to Comerford for the first out of the inning. 4 innings of work, 6 hits, 6 runs, 4 of them earned, 6 strikeouts to his 2 walks. So ground ball out to the second baseman. Suzuki retires Trey Johnson. Now here's the former Blue Jared Medham. Medham had a short stint with San Luis Obispo last year, only playing in 5 games. Recorded 4 hits in his 17 at-bats, one of them for extra bases. It was a double, and is entering his 4th year at St. Mary's College. First pitch from Bagby is a fastball missing low, 1 ball, no strikes. Medham is a native of Half Moon Bay, California, 5'11", 179-pound senior. He was batting .333 in the early summer with the Crawdads. The 1-0, and Medham leaves a 4-seamer on the outer half for a strike. 1-1 count to the 3-year Gale, who was named the 2023 West Coast Conference All-Freshman Team selection. Stands here with his hands in front of his chest and his baby blue-colored barrel. The pitch. Medham puts a charge into it into center field. Royal can't get there in time. 1-out single for Jared Medham. He catches barrel, and there goes the no-hitter for Cooper Bagby. Runner on first with 1 out for Ryan Ellis, one of the many left-handed hitters in today's lineup for Walnut Creek. 5 of the 9 are lefties for the Dads. Ellis, a left-hander from Peoria, Arizona, and a former Gale from St. Mary's, now at UT Arlington in Texas. Medham takes off to second base, and the new catcher, Charlie Caruso, can't glove it. A stolen base for Jared Medham, and the tying run in scoring position for the Dads in the first inning. Caruso had to catch that pitch on the backhand in the dirt, and on the transition to his throwing hand, the ball just kind of squirted out. So Medham at second base, and here's Ryan Ellis at a 1-0 count. The pitch, curveball right back up the middle, and it rolls into center field for a base hit. Green light for Jared Medham at third base. The throw comes in. There will be no cut, and standing in safely is Jared Medham at home. An RBI single for Ryan Ellis. Back-to-back base hits for the Dads. Makes it a 1-1 ball game. So after an easy ground ball out to Kosei Suzuki at second base, Cooper Bagby has given up 2 singles in a row. And if it weren't for that stolen base from Jared Medham, it's 50-50 if he scores. He does have some good speed, but still up in the air. So here's John Ewens as the first ball is in the dirt. The runner at first, and Ellis stays there. 1-0. Ewens, another left-hander, playing first base for Walnut Creek, and a Bear from Baylor. From the stretch, here's the 1-0. Bouncing ball off the back of Bagby, who gets there quickly and throws it over to first in time. Man, Cooper Bagby has just had 3 liners shot right at him. This is the first one that hit him. He takes his time walking behind the mound. This was hit right in his lower back near the kidney area. It was a hard slapping sound. But Bagby did a nice job of staying tough and hustling to the baseball and making an easy flip over to Comerford at first base. That's the second out of the inning. Dean Traynor still checks on Bagby, who told Traynor to go back into the dugout. There's nothing to worry about. So a 1-1 game, and on that ground ball out from Ewens, Ryan Ellis advances into second base. Everyone retreats, and everyone appears to be okay as Riley Leininger awaits. So 2 outs, the runner at second, and Leininger up for Walnut Creek. Leininger from Georgetown, Texas, is entering his redshirt freshman season after utilizing that redshirt at the University of Oklahoma. The first pitch, and Leininger leaves it in there for a strike. Left-hander, infielder, standing at 6'2", 221. Playing in his 6th game with Walnut Creek this summer. 5 for his first 17. No extra base hits so far, but he's driven in 2 runs. Here's the 0-1. Fastball just missing below the zone. A ball and a strike now to Leininger. Leininger is a 2-time district MVP at Georgetown High School in Texas and was a 2024 Perfect Game Texas All-Region First-Team honoree. Bouncing ball. In foul ground off to the left. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Leininger. And scouts have him as having big and strong power. One of Coach Cummings' contacts saw him, raved about him as one of the best lefties in his class, and had to get him here immediately to Walnut Creek. He's here for situations like these with a runner at second. The 1-2. Leininger leaves that one low and inside. Caruso does a nice job keeping it at front. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Riley Leininger. Bagby, the pitcher for San Luis Obispo, has had a long college career, hopping around from school to fall league to winter league. He played in the Palm Springs Power this winter. 2-2 misses inside, almost hitting the shoe tops of Leininger. 3 balls and 2 strikes now. Bagby's a native of Santa Maria, California, and a career .463 earned run average with the Bulldogs. 138 innings pitched, 117 strikeouts to 45 walks. Here he is on the payoff pitch from the stretch. A peek at second base, now strides and shoots. This is a hard liner right to the shortstop O'Hara, who catches it in the palm for the final out of the inning. An RBI single from Ryan Ellis ties the game at 1. Into the second inning we go on the Slow Blues streaming network. Right-hander Brady Wilson back on the mound for the Walnut Creek Crawdads. Top of the second inning, a tied ball game 1-1. A pair of RBI singles from Gavin Smith as O'Hara bounces it off to the right on the first pitch. An easy play for the second baseman Ellis to record the first out of the inning. 1 pitch, 1 out for Brady Wilson. And Gavin Smith had 1 RBI single, and then Ryan Ellis, who just made that put out, had an RBI single of his own. He scored former Blue Jared Medham from second base. And here we are now, a 1-1 ball game with Charlie Caruso making his Blues debut this afternoon. Caruso has looked good defensively so far as the backstop for the Blues. Here's the first pitch from Wilson, and Caruso leaves it inside for ball 1. Charlie, a Southern California native, playing baseball in the Midwest for Northwestern, a graduate of J. Sarah Catholic down in San Juan Capistrano. Here's the 1-0. Caruso swings, and the second baseman Ellis, who's getting a lot of work out there, makes an easy flip over to first base for the second out of the inning. 2 putouts from the second baseman, Ryan Ellis, and 2 quick outs for Brady Wilson. Brings up Kosei Suzuki. Second baseman from Kaitama, Japan. Prepped in Kensington, Australia. And then in Texas with his JUCO program at Tyler Community College. Heading to LaSalle next fall. Suzuki is first pitch swinging and pops it up to the right and out of play. Kosei with a bright cherry red oven mitt in his back right pocket. With E.J. Royal, the leadoff man on deck. Here's the 0-1 to Kosei. And Suzuki hits a liner right to the shortstop, Medham, who makes the play, falling backwards. 3 up, 3 down for the Blues. Quick inning, heading to the bottom half of the second inning on the Slow Blues streaming network. Of the second inning here at Monte Vista High School, the Walnut Creek Crawdads and the San Luis Obispo Blues. Blues playing in their 8th conference game of the summer against Walnut Creek, and it's a 1-1 ball game. 6-7-8 due up for the Dads. First pitch swinging and fouling it out of play is Brandon Clisby, the catcher, batting 6 for Walnut Creek. Cooper Bagby back on the mound for the Blues. Allowed a run in his first inning of work, an RBI base hit from Ryan Ellis, who's been getting a hefty load at second base in terms of ground balls. 0-1. This one straightened out and over to the shortstop O'Hara, who throws across his body and in time to Comerford at first. Nice play by Cade O'Hara. A slow roller to his backhand and falling towards the third base line. Throws it to Comerford in time for the first out of the inning. And that's the arm of Cade O'Hara that we know and love, able to fling it all the way across the diamond. So a nice first out for Cooper Bagby as Joey Donnelly steps in. A right fielder and one of the 5 left-handed bats in the lineup for the Dads. First pitch is a fastball missing outside, 1-0. Donnelly from Alamo, California, looking for a graduate program after 3 years of college baseball at Cal Berkeley. In the transfer portal, a 6'2", 210-pound outfielder, 1-0. This is a liner right back up the middle, and it falls in front of E.J. Royal. The Crawdads are just barreling up baseballs today. Makes sense, their offensive production that they've had throughout the season and that 5-game winning streak. So Donnelly catches a barrel, and it's the third base hit of the day for the Dads. Here comes Sam Jenkins, the center fielder, batting 8th. Jenkins from Dallas, Texas, a redshirt freshman after sitting out his first season at Baylor. First pitch, and Jenkins hits a grounder up the middle. The second baseman, Suzuki, can't handle it, and Donnelly around second and heads into third. What looked like a routine play for Kosei Suzuki ends up rolling underneath the glove. An error from Kosei, and runners at the corners for the Walnut Creek Crawdads. Donnelly at third and Sam Jenkins at first. Joey Coupland today's DH. Stepping up with runners at first and third, a chance to take the lead in this ball game. Coupland from Chabot Community College entering his sophomore season with the Gladiators. Here's the first pitch. Coupland swings and fouls it straight back for strike one. Only appearing in his third game this summer with Walnut Creek. He's 1 of 3 so far with a homer. That's his only hit. Had 8 long balls this past season at Chabot. The 0-1. Runner goes to second. There will be no throw. Stolen base from Sam Jenkins puts 2 runners in scoring positions for the Dads. 1 ball and 1 strike to Joe Coupland as the pitch missed outside. Drove in 31 runs this past season on 31 hits at Chabot Community College. The 1-1. And it's a breaking ball in there for a strike. And that's his true freshman season of college baseball. He's going to have some fun in his college baseball career if you're putting numbers up like that in your true freshman year. Runners on second and third. Here's the 1-2. And Coupland flinches on a pitch missing inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. A 2-2 counts against Cooper Bagby, making his second start of the summer for San Luis Obispo and coming off a rough outing against the Stompers. The 2-2 pitch. Coupland holds up his offering on the changeup missing low and outside. Full count at 3 balls and 2 strikes with the leadoff man, Trey Johnson, standing in the on-deck circle. Coupland wanting to activate the Crawdads chain that's dangling in front of their dugouts. Here's the payoff. Coupland swings and hits a hard liner into center field. It will score at least 2. Or at least 1 as the throw comes in. And Caruso in front of home plate doesn't get it in time. 2-run single for Joe Coupland. Makes it a 3-1 ball game. Clutch hitting for Coupland. And the Dads take the lead. 2 innings in a row where Walnut Creek has put up 2 hits. An error from Suzuki coming back to haunt San Luis Obispo. Jenkins scored from second base after stealing the bag. I'll go to the top of the order, and first pitch swinging is Johnson as Royal gives chase in left center. He's called off by Smith, who makes the running grab for the second out of the inning. So a nice recovery out there from Cooper Bagby. 2 gone in the second. Up comes Jared Medham, the former Blue. Played in 5 games with San Luis Obispo last year. Now here in Walnut Creek, a little closer to home in Half Moon Bay, where he was born and raised. And has hobbies that reflect his home city. Surfing. Runner goes to second. Here comes the throw, and it's not in time. Joe Coupland steals second base standing. And once again, another runner in scoring position for the Dads. And you can tell earlier on in this game, Walnut Creek likes to put pressure on, both with the sticks and on the base paths. 1-0 count to Jared Medham. The pitch. Fastball missing low. 2 balls and no strikes. Medham singled for the first base hit of the afternoon for Walnut Creek the last time he was up. He stole second, too, and then came around to score on a Ryan Ellis single. That tied the game. Now it's 3-1 Walnut Creek. With 2 outs, here's the 2-0. And Medham hits a bouncing ball up the middle. Kosei Suzuki leaps, grabs it, and the throw goes over Comerford's head. Coupland scores from third. And another error from Kosei Suzuki. 2 in the same inning. This time, this one brings in a run. 4-1 Walnut Creek. So here's Ryan Ellis now. Hit that RBI single to tie the game in the first. It's now 4-1 Walnut Creek. Another runner takes off to second. This throw is offline, a head-first slide for Jared Medham. Second stolen base of the day for the Gale from St. Mary's. Already in this game, we're not even through the second inning, 4 stolen bags for Walnut Creek. That pitch missed outside to Ryan Ellis, 1-0. The pitch. Another one missing outside. 2 balls and no strikes to Ellis. Utility man from Peoria, playing in his 3rd summer with Walnut Creek. He played in 2022 and 2023 with the Dads and made his name known. First year with 1,000 OPS and year 2 with a 935 OPS. He would have played for them in 2024, but was rehabbing a knee injury. Also sidelined him at St. Mary's University and led him to hit the transfer portal and go to UT Arlington, where he used a medical redshirt that season. Runner takes off to third. Here's the throw from Caruso. It's not in time. 3 stolen bags for Jared Medham today. He steals third successfully, and another insurance run over at third base for Ryan Ellis. 3 balls and no strikes to the left-hander from Peoria. Driven in 4 so far this summer with Walnut Creek. 3-0, and that's ball 4. 4-pitch walk to Ryan Ellis, the first walk of the day against Cooper Bagby with 2 outs. So now runners at the corners as Dean Traynor heads out there to talk to his right-hander. No motion happening in the Blues bullpen, which is very close to the third base line. An exposed bullpen here at Monte Vista High School. Same situation down the first base line for the Crawdads, too. Wind blowing straight in from center field as Dean Traynor takes his time to get out there on the hill. Waiting is John Ewens for Walnut Creek. And Bagby was able to minimize the damage in the first inning. That RBI single from Ellis, and he got a couple of quick outs after that. A ground ball right back up the middle, hit him in the lower back, and a liner to the shortstop O'Hara bailed him out with a runner on second base. Different story here. He got a quick out to O'Hara to begin this frame, but then a single, an error, another single, and another error from Kosei Suzuki, and now a walk. And the Dads just sure know how to apply pressure to their opponents, whether it's on the base paths or in the batter's box. Showing off their 5-game winning streak. First in the CCL North right now. So here's Ewens, who just redshirted his first season at Baylor and then played last year for the Bears for the first time, and the first pitch missing outside, 1-0. Played in 11 games for Baylor this year. 3 hits and 19 at-bats. A double and 3 runs driven in. Has already driven in 9 this summer. Pitch misses low. Snap back throw to first almost goes in the left field, but Artois retrieves it on the bag. 1-1 to John Ewens, who hit that comebacker off the lower back of Cooper Bagby. Runners on first and third for the Dads. 4-1 ball game in the bottom half of the second. From the stretch, Bagby with a long pause, now delivers. Fastball popped up and out of play, off to the left. A ball and 2 strikes now to Ewens. John has struck out 4 times this summer to his 2 walks. Appearing in his 5th game for Walnut Creek this summer. Here's the pitch. And Ewens hits it off the hands, a leaking pop-up to center, and it falls in front of E.J. Royal, a base hit. Medham scores from third. It's a 5-1 ball game. RBI single, John Ewens. Could have even broken his bat that time. Already the 5th hit of the day, not out of the second inning for Walnut Creek. So Riley Leininger, who ended the first inning, now steps in with runners on first and second. Still 2 outs in this game. Here's the pitch. And it misses outside, 1-0. Leininger in the transfer portal after redshirting his first season at Oklahoma. an infielder from Georgetown High School in Georgetown, Texas, where he was born and raised. 1-0. And pulls the string on a changeup. It's the swing and a miss for strike one. A 2024 perfect game, Texas All-Region first-team honoree with runners on first and second here. The 1-1 leaves it low, 2 balls on a strike. Still no motion in the Blues bullpen. Kind of see Sean York grabbing a glove, though. See if he makes the move out to the pen. Peek at second, here's the 2-1. Curveball goes over the glove of Caruso, and the runners go station to station. Wild pitch from Cooper Bagby. And now Ryan Ellis is at third, and Ewens is at second. Makes the job a little easier for Leininger. A 3-1 count here to the former Sooner from Oklahoma. Here's Bagby. Fastball missing outside. That's ball 4. Second walk of the inning, and it fills the bases for Walnut Creek. All this coming with 2 outs. So now it's back to the leadoff man of this inning, Brandon Clisby. Clisby grounded out to the shortstop, Cade O'Hara, the last time he was up, and he steps in with his fungo-like baseball bat. First pitch to him, and Clisby dodges a fastball high and tight for ball 1. And it looks like a fungo because it's got the light wood throughout the bat, and then on the barrel it's painted in black. That's usually a pattern you see on fungo bats. 1-0, and Clisby pops it up into center field. Royal sizes it up and makes the grab for the final out of the inning. Crawdads strand the bases loaded, but not before they tack on 4 more runs. 5-1, Walnut Creek heading into the 3rd inning on the SLO Blues streaming network. Blues working from behind now. A 4-run bottom of the 2nd inning for the Walnut Creek Crawdads here at Monte Vista High School. Off 3 hits, has now made it a 5-1 ball game. Blues enter that frame tied at 1, and now they're trailing by 4. But the top of the order is due up for San Luis Obispo. E.J. Royal, Sam Ardois, and Andrew Raymond. First pitch to Royal misses high and tight for ball 1. Royal today has grounded out to the shortstop, Jared Medham, who is a former Blue, played in 5 games last season in San Luis Obispo. As that pitch misses outside. 2 balls and no strikes to Royal. I talked with hitting coach Rene Regalado before today's game, too, and EJ has made a couple hitting adjustments that has changed his summer. 2-0 misses low, 3 balls and no strikes. We know Royal to collect some base hits with soft contact all around the yard, off the end of the bat, off the hands, leaking liners over the infield. And that was good if you're a pure average hitter, but Royal wants to get those power numbers up. And we know he was thinking about those power numbers, especially at Utah Tech, where they're played in elevation and all of his friends hit homers. As the 3-0 is in there for strike one. But he found out to create hip and core separation from the hands. You get your body to swing first, the hands follow. And Royal almost gets hit by a four-seamer inside. There's a leadoff walk for the Blues. Second walk of the day issued to the Blues offense. Leadoff base runner aboard for Sam Ardois. That's another thing about EJ, too. Not only does he find a way to collect a base hit, but he'll find a way to get on base. A very patient at-bat for EJ Royal brings up Ardois, who wants to do anything but walk here with the way he's swinging the baseball bat right now. A hot summer early on for Ardois, as the first pitch to him is a called strike on the outer half. Coming into this ball game with his .368 batting average, 1 double, 1 home run. Didn't hit a home run all season last year for San Luis Obispo. Curveball misses in the dirt. Nice lead from Sam Ardois. 1 ball and 1 strike. He's making his 5th start today against the Walnut Creek Crawdads. Entered today's game with 7 hits in his 19 at-bats. He's 0 for 1 today with a pop out to the second baseman Ellis. Big secondary for Royal as the pitch misses outside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Sam Ardois. The hitter's count of former shortstop from the University of Louisiana, Lafayette. Now in the transfer portal. The pitch. Ardois leaves it high and outside. As it looks like Sam Cohen, or check that, Max Cohen, is getting hot in that Walnut Creek bullpen. Wilson has only pitched in 2 innings today. He's working with a runner on first with no outs. 3-1. Ardois hits a dribbler behind home plate. Royal, who was taken off for second base, will retreat back to first now. So with 3-2 count to Sam Ardois as he takes his time circling in the back of the batter's box. Slightly choking up on his wooden bat, lifting it off his shoulders, awaiting the payoff. Ardois hits it hard to the shortstop Medham, who slides, throws it over to second, and it ricochets off the shin of Royal, who slid into the bag. EJ slow to get up as that baseball caught the entirety of Royal's shin. A nice play by Jared Medham to slide to his right and flip it to the second baseman Ellis, but the throw just a little offline. Medham was thrown from a tough slot, too. I mean, almost looked like his knuckles were scraping on the infield dirt. But Royal is reeling after that. And baseball just caught his shin entirely, and that hurts. He's leaning over at second base. Hitting coach Rene Regalado is out there to make sure he's okay. Andrew Raymond awaiting for his turn at the dish, as now manager Dean Traynor heads out there to check on his center fielder. EJ still hobbling around, but assuring his coaches he's okay, as Traynor and Medham exchange some words at shortstop. Of course, as I mentioned, Traynor used to manage Medham briefly last summer. And Royal will stay at second base, so both the manager and the hitting coach for the Blues will retreat into the dugout. So EJ Royal's at second, and Sam Ardois is at first base. Here's Andrew Raymond with a runner in scoring position. Raymond, a new ad for the Blues, arrived today from Santa Clara University, making his debut. First pitch, and Raymond leaves the fastball high, 1-0. Last time Andrew was up, he walked the first plate appearance of his SLO Blues career, and eventually came around to score on a Gavin Smith RBI single. A look at second now coming home. Fastball missing high again, 2-0 count to Andrew Raymond. Raymond from Spokane, Washington, coming down from the Pacific Northwest to play baseball on the Central Coast for the Blues. The pitch, 2-0, a big swing and a miss for strike one. SLO not too far away from his four-year university, Santa Clara. He just played his first season with the Broncos and batted south of 200. Here's the 2-1. And Raymond with another hard hack here on a high fastball evens it up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Raymond's got baseball in his blood. His father played at San Diego State University from 92 to 96, following in his father's footsteps and playing baseball in NorCal. The 2-2. And Raymond hits a chopper to the first baseman, Ewens, who will touch first base himself. But the 2 runners ahead of Andrew will advance a station each. A ground ball out from Andrew Raymond, an unassisted putout from Ewens, puts 2 runners in scoring position, but is the first out of the third inning. Ardois at second and Royal at third. Here comes Don Jordan, who recorded the first Blues base hit of the afternoon. Jordan did not play his first season at the University of Texas due to a couple of injuries he sustained with the Longhorns. He flinches at a curveball, and it's a called strike. After sitting out that first season at UT, now in the transfer portal and already garnering some interest from fellow SEC schools. Waggling his pink baseball bat in front of his head. Here's the pitch, and the 0-1's a hard grounder off the mound and into center field, a base hit. E.J. Royal limps in to score. The throw comes to the plate. It's high. Jordan takes off to second. A 2 RBI single. Don Jordan minimizes the deficit. 5-3 Walnut Creek, a 2-1 lead for the Dads. And Royal grimacing as he hobbled into home, assuring the man on deck, Gavin Smith, that he is okay. And hopefully he can be healthy enough to return to center field for the Blues and be a big blow for this Blues offense if they don't have Royal in the lineup, who's starting to catch some fire. So Don Jordan's at second base with an RBI single. He advanced to second on the throw from center, and now it's Gavin Smith. Smith takes the first pitch strike. 5-3 game now. Blues trail by 2 to the Dads in the top half of the third inning. Jordan with plus speed at second base, arguably the fastest runner on the team. 2 looks at the bag. Jordan shuffles off some more. Here's the pitch, and Smith spins it off his hands and foul territory, but it won't be playable for the catcher, Clisby. 0-2 to Gavin Smith, who's playing left field today for San Luis Obispo. This is the first time he's done that all summer. He was a primary outfielder at Harvard University, but since coming to play on the Central Coast, has primarily played third in DH. Here's the 0-2, and Smith foul tips it off the shin of Clisby, staying alive in the 0-2 count. And Smith off to a slow summer so far. Batting south of 200, making his 10th start for San Luis Obispo. 6 hits and his 34 at-bats coming into today's game. Here's the 0-2, and Smith leaves it outside, a ball and 2 strikes. And a nice job from Gavin Smith to not chase after that fastball low and away. Try to go with the out pitch. Brady Wilson did that time and induce a chasing swing from the utility man from Harvard. 1-2 to Gavin Smith. Don Jordan at second base. Blues trail by 2 to the Crawdads. The pitch. And Smith hits a high bounding ball down the third base line and foul. Again, a 1-2 count to Gavin Smith. Brandon Comerford stands on deck. He struck out swinging to end the first inning for the Blues. Smith upright in his right-handed batting stance, placing his arms right in front of his right pec. Shuffling in the box, awaiting the 1-2, the pitch. And this one's taken on the outer half for strike 3. Gavin Smith goes down looking as he shakes his head, walking back into the dugout. Second strikeout of the day for the Blues offense. And here's Brendan Comerford, who was strikeout number 1. Brendan played in yesterday's game, a replacement of Zach Tollerman, a late add for the Blues. Tollerman dealing with a barking ankle. It was bothering him in pregame. He was listed as the first baseman in the starting lineup, and during infield-outfield, kind of rolled it over at first base, and a precautionary scratch. Didn't want to heard anything more. Zach Tellerman was telling me there was a lot of swelling on that ankle too. So Comerford came in to be safe and started that game against the Seagulls yesterday, where the Blues won 13-1. Comerford went 1 for 4 yesterday, a single in the 7th. Also recorded a sacrifice fly in the first inning. That single was one of the Blues' 17 they had yesterday against the Seagulls. It was also the second game of the summer where the Blues recorded no outs. First pitch to Comerford, ambitious on the swing there, but he comes up empty for strike one. Don Jordan at second base with 2 outs. Gavin Smith just went down looking. Blues trying to come back in a 5-3 deficit against the Crawdads. The 0-1. And Comerford gets hit on the tricep. That'll put 2 runners on for San Luis Obispo. And Comerford is a strong leader in the hit-by-pitch category this summer with the Blues. That's his 7th hit-by-pitch so far. Second place is Diego Murillo with 3. That's how far the gap is between first and second on the hit-by-pitch leaderboard. So Comerford is plunked, and now it's Cade O'Hara who led off the second inning. First pitch to O'Hara is a curveball missing in the dirt, ball 1. O'Hara, like 19 other players on this Blues roster, in the transfer portal. He's a transfer from the University of Texas, just like Don Jordan, who's over at second. Fastball on the outer half for a strike. 1-1 to Cade O'Hara as he asks for reassurance from the home plate umpire to make sure that is what is going to be called all day today. The 1-1. O'Hara watches a fastball low and outside. 2 balls and a strike now to Cade. Cade, a SoCal native from Tustin. Spent his last 2 years in the Lone Star State at the University of Texas. Now in the portal. O'Hara rips it to left center field. Jenkins giving chase. It'll drop in between the two for a base hit. Don Jordan comes in to score. O'Hara slides in head first at second base. An RBI double for Cade O'Hara. That's another hitter, too, that's starting to find some more barrels. Cade O'Hara is just smacking the baseball right now. He brings the Blues within 1 run in the 3rd inning. Extra base hit brings up Charlie Caruso as the manager for Walnut Creek heads on out there to retrieve his right-hander, Brady Wilson. Max Cohen has been getting hot in that Dad's bullpen for quite a while. And he will enter this ball game. So Brady Wilson's day is done after the RBI double from Cade O'Hara. It's a 5-4 ball game, and we'll introduce you to the left-hander right after this on the Slow Blues streaming network. Max Cohen in the game now for the Walnut Creek Crawdads. Brady Wilson's day is done, following an RBI double from Cade O'Hara. Blues trail by 1 to the Dads with runners on second and third, and Charlie Caruso up. First pitch to Caruso misses low for ball 1. 5-4 ball game. O'Hara at second base and Brendan Comerford at third. Comerford was hit by a pitch in this inning. The 7th of the summer for Brendan. He leads the team by a long shot. Here's the 1-0. And Caruso watches the hanging changeup in there for a strike. 1-1 to the Wildcat from Northwestern University out in Evanston, Illinois. Redshirted his first season, but loves his time there so far. How could you not? A beautiful city, Evanston, Illinois. 1-1. And Caruso watches a curveball high. 2 balls and a strike to Charlie Caruso, making his Blues debut today. Arrived on the scene yesterday at San Bruno City Park and starting for the first time this summer. The pitch, and Caruso takes a fastball low. 3 balls and 1 strike. A hitter's count to Charlie Caruso, who is donning that Northwestern purple shin guard on his front right foot. One of the 2 left-handed batters in today's game. Both of those batters making their Blues debut. 3-1. And Caruso off the forearm, reeling as he jogs over to first base on the hit-by pitch. Caruso didn't go around. He flinched on that offering, but another HBP in this frame. 2 in this inning, both from different pitchers, and now the bases are loaded from Kosei Suzuki. And with 2 outs, the Blues have the chance to take the lead in this ball game as Caruso takes his time over at first base. First base coach Scheitz getting his batting gloves and his shin guard, and we're ready to go. So here's Suzuki, who handled a fastball pretty well, but it was right to the shortstop, Jared Medham, who made the play, backpedaling. First pitch to Suzuki is swung on and missed for strike 1 as a goose has flown onto the field. As Suzuki in an upright stance, and Kosei fouls it off his front foot, and he falls to the ground in some pain. I've talked about it on the broadcast before with Ryan Giacomini, but you could wear that shin guard that covers the entirety of your shin and your foot, and somehow when you hit a foul ball, it just always seems to find a way to hit an open spot. You could be wearing all the gear in the world, and just somehow that little crevice that is not covered gets hit by the baseball. One of those things. Kosei Suzuki is good enough to continue this at-bat. 0-2 to Kosei. Bases loaded. 2 outs, Blues trail by 1. The top half of the third inning, the pitch. And Suzuki hits a rope into left center field, a base hit. Comerford scores. Here comes Cade O'Hara. The center fielder Jenkins bobbles it. Green light for Charlie Caruso. Kosei Suzuki standing at second base with the bases clearing double. Blues take the lead 7-5 at the top of the third inning. The bench loves it. Kosei celebrates at second base, and he gets rewarded after that foul ball on his front foot. So we'll flip it to the top of the order in E.J. Royal, who led off this inning. Royal walked to begin the frame, and you know what they say about leadoff walks. They're ill-advised and they come back to haunt you. And he's the recipient of ball 1 here with Suzuki at second base. Kosei just gave the Blues the lead with a 3 RBI double. 1-0, and Royal leaves it outside. 2-0 now to EJ. Royal 0 for 1 today, a ground ball out to Medham at short, and a walk in the third. EJ finds a barrel into left field, and Johnston dives and can't make the grab. Suzuki rounds third and comes in to score. RBI single for E.J. Royal. The Blues extend 8-5. A sinking line drive from E.J. Royal might have hit like a knuckleball to the left fielder Johnson, who had trouble sizing it up, had to make an awkward slide to get to that baseball and just couldn't make the play. And it's now Sam Ardois. Ardois leaves a fastball on the outer half. 1 ball, no strikes to Sammy. Uncommitted infielder from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Looking for his 3rd school in 3 years. It's a hard ground ball to the third baseman, Leininger, who gets the force out at second base, but not before the Blues take the lead. A bases-clearing double from Kosei Suzuki and a sinking RBI single from E.J. Royal makes it an 8-5 ball game. Heading to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. As I remind you, it's brought to you by Studio Design Group Architects. Bottom third is brought to you by the talented team at Studio Design Group Architects. Whether you're designing, planning, or needing permits for a new space, Studio Design Group and their collaborative philosophy have you covered. Visit stgarchitects.com to learn more. Blues now have the lead off a Kosei Suzuki bases clearing double and an E.J. Royal RBI single. 8-5 San Luis Obispo. As the bottom of the order is due up for the Walnut Creek Crawdads. A new arm getting loose in the bullpen for the Blues as well. Pitch missing low and outside to Joey Donnelly. 2 balls and no strikes to the right fielder who singled the last time he was up in the 2nd inning. From the windup, here's the 2-0. And Donnelly flinches but leaves the pitch outside. 3 balls and no strikes now from Bagby. Suzuki found the left center gap where that goose is still standing. We had a goose fly into center field in the last frame, and he's still chilling there. Here's the 3-0. Donnelly leaves it inside, a 4-pitch walk to begin the 3rd inning. 3rd walk of the day from Cooper Bagby, a leadoff runner on base. So here's another left-handed batter in Sam Jenkins. Jenkins reached on error from Kosei last time he was up in the 2nd inning. Suzuki actually committed 2 in that frame too, and they both came around to score. Pick off the first and B move from Bagby, and Donnelly's back in time. I would say Kosei has redeemed himself with that 3 RBI double in the top half of this inning. Blues put up 7 runs. Here's Jenkins. And pitch misses low. 1 ball and no strikes to Sam Jenkins. The Baylor Bear still wearing his green batting gloves into the summer. Redshirted his first year with the Bears. Now ready for year 1 of D1 ball. Curveball missing inside. 2-0 to Sam Jenkins, who is a 2-time letter winner at Trinity Christian Academy in Addison, Texas, and hit .320, including a home run and 19 runs batted in as a senior in high school. Long hold, here's the 2-0. Fastball missing low, 3 straight balls to Sam Jenkins, 7 straight from Cooper Bagby. Jenkins entering today's game, 4 of 13, making his 5th appearance for the Dads this summer. 3 walks to his 3 strikeouts. He's driven in 3, too. Here's the 3-0. Fastball down the middle for strike one. Bagby able to get one over the plate after 7 straight balls. Jenkins won the state championship in 2023 with Trinity Christian Academy as well. Average lead at first. Here's the 3-1. As this is popped up and it won't be playable on the left side. Count now full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Jenkins in that senior year, or in that junior year of high school, led the Trojans of Trinity Christian Academy in every offensive category. It was first team all tournament and first team all district. 3-2. Jenkins swings and misses for strike 3. Cooper Bagby pulls the string, and there's the first out of the inning. And Blues are looking for a ground ball here, trying to flip a double play with 1 out. Runner on first base, it's Joey Donnelly. Here's Joe Coupland. As pick over at first is not in time. Coupland, the head contributor of a 4-run rally in the second. He drove in 2 runs with his RBI single that was crushed. First pitch. And Coupland watches a pitch low and outside, ball 1. 8-5 lead for the Blues, bottom half of the 3rd inning. Runner on first, it's Joey Donnelly. A sophomore from Chabot. The pitch. Leaves it low. 2 balls and no strikes to Coupland. That 2 RBI single from Joey was his second base hit of the summer. The other one, a home run, a solo shot. Here's the 2-0 as the runner heads to second. And a ball put in play down the third base line and foul. Strike 1 to Joe Coupland. 15 walks to his 17 strikeouts this past season with the Gladiators, which was his first season of college baseball. A .265 average, but a .362 on base and a .556 slugging. 8 doubles, 8 homers, and a triple. 17 extra base hits out of his 31 hits. The pitch gets underneath the legs of Caruso, and easily advancing to second base is Joey Donnelly. A wild pitch from Cooper Bagby. A 3-0 count now to Joe Coupland. Coupland has driven in 3 this summer after that 2 RBI single in the second inning. The Danville, California native, after a fun season at Chabot, continuing that success in Walnut Creek. 3-1. Coupland watches the curveball in there for a strike. Trey Johnson, the leadoff man for the Crawdads, stands on deck. Dads trail by 3 against the Blues. Johnson represents the tying run on deck. 3-2. Coupland flinches on a sweeper. They appeal on the check swing, and he didn't go around. Joe Coupland gets the 1-out walk. 2 runners on base. Both have reached via the walk. All right, he's still getting loose in that Blues bullpen. Chase Rogers, the leopard from Lafayette University, still getting hot. Runners on first and second for Walnut Creek. 1 out for Trey Johnson. Johnson's first pitch swinging and pops it up in foul ground. Everyone retreats in the bullpen. The third baseman, Ardois, makes the catch at the wall. Sam Ardois crashing into the fence just to the right of the bullpen. Makes a spectacular grab. Rangy play for the third baseman and a big second out for Cooper Bagby. So here's Jared Medham now, who's 1 for 2 today and has scored 2 of the 5 runs for Walnut Creek. Wind blowing straight in from center field as Medham gets set with his baby blue colored barrel. Thick knob on the bat as well as he awaits the first offering from Bagby. The first pitch is a sweeper hitting the inner half for strike one. Medham coming off a season where he batted just south of 300, 297 average, 58 hits in 195 at-bats, 4 homers, 11 doubles, and no triples. Medham flinches, and it's a called strike. 0-2 to Jared Medham. Struck out 42 times this past season at St. Mary's. That's a career high for him in a single season. Compare that to his 25 walks. It's also a career high, or a season high. Played in 3 more games than last year, or the year prior in 2024. Finds a barrel here into right center, and it falls in front of Andrew Raymond. Green light coming around third. It's Donnelly. The throw at the plate trickles into Caruso's mitt. An RBI single for Jared Medham. Second base knock of the day for the St. Mary's Gales. Makes it an 8-6 ball game. Blues still lead. And Dean Traynor heads out there to talk to Cooper Bagby with Chase Rogers still getting hot in the pen. And Traynor will go to his bullpen. The sidewinder from Lafayette enters today's game. Bagby's day is done, and we'll introduce you more about Rogers right after this on the Slow Blues Streaming Network. Chase Rogers enters today's game with runners on first and second and 2 outs in the bottom half of the third inning. Blues lead 8-6 over the Walnut Creek Crawdads, and Ryan Ellis is the first batter Rogers will face, and it's a pitch missing inside, 1-0. Bagby's day is done after 2 1/3 innings of work. 6 hits, 4 walks, a strikeout, and the runs are to be determined with a couple ducks on the pond right there. Slider gets away from Caruso behind home plate, and they're going to say that Ellis was hit by the pitch. So either way, runners advanced into second and third, but now what makes it hurt even more is that Ellis is at first. First hit by pitch of the day issued from Blues pitching, and it's the first batter that Chase Rogers faces. Rogers enters today's game, making his 4th appearance for the Blues, and in 4 2/3 innings pitched, has allowed 4 hits and 2 strikeouts, no walks, and no earned runs. He's faced 20 so far this summer. So now here's John Ewens with the bases loaded. First pitch And Ewens checks his swing on a fastball in there for a strike. Go-ahead run now at first base. That's Ryan Ellis. And Medham is at third and Coupland at second. The pitch. Sweeper swung on and missed for strike two. Jaden Turner getting loose in the Blues bullpen now. As Rogers with an open stance. Delivers. 0-2 is a soft liner and it will roll into center field, a base hit. One run is in. Here comes another and Jared Medham. 2 RBI single, John Ewens. And that ties the game 8-8. And this is what we expected from Walnut Creek. They were never going to go down quietly. It was going to be high-octane offense no matter what. 16 runs between these two teams. And for Ewens, his second base hit of the day, both of them producing runs for the Dads. So here's Leininger, who is first pitch swinging, and Suzuki can't pick it at second base. Ewens advances to third, and Ellis will score standing. Crawdads take the lead on another RBI base hit, this time from Riley Leininger. 9-8 game now. All of this coming with 2 outs. Runners at the corners for the Dads. And in comes Brandon Clisby. First pitch is hammered into left field. Smith going back and in front of the warning track makes the catch, backpedaling for the third out of the inning. The Dads take the lead 9-8 over the SLO Blues as we head into the fourth inning on the SLO Blues streaming network. Andrew Raymond steps into the left-handed batter's box in what has just been a back-and-forth ball game so far today. And I talked about it a little earlier. Something to be somewhat expected playing at a field like Monte Vista High School. 325 at the corners, and with the strong bats like Walnut Creek, no lead is safe against the Dads. Here's the first pitch to Raymond, and it's in there for a called strike. Last time Andrew Raymond was up, he grounded out to Ewens at first base for the unassisted putout. The pitch, and Raymond takes it low, 1-1 to the Santa Clara Bronco. Andrew making his SLO Blues debut today. He reached on first in the first inning with a walk and came around to score on a Gavin Smith RBI single. Here's a hanging curveball that drops into the zone, 1-2 to Raymond. Don Jordan stands on deck for the Blues. He's a perfect 2 for 2. Here's the 1-2. And Raymond swings, pops it up into center field. Jenkins ranging in, and he dives and can't make the grab. Good hustle by Raymond as he cruises into second base easily. Base hit for Andrew Raymond as Jenkins is slow to get up in center field. Looks like Jenkins might have misplayed it. It was a high pop-up and thought he had more time than he did to get underneath it. He dove at the final second and couldn't come up with it. So it's a double for Andrew Raymond, his first base hit in a Blues uniform. Here's Don Jordan with 2 singles today. Reached second base on the throw back in the 3rd inning where the Blues put up 7 runs and took the lead. Jordan, his first pitch hacking here for strike 1. Blues entered the top of the 4th inning up 8-5. And then the Dads rallied back with a 4-run frame, including an RBI single from Leininger and Ewens, as well as Jared Medham. Here's the pitch to Jordan, and it's a floating changeup missing outside for a ball. Don has been hitting the baseball extra hard. He was off to a real slow start this summer for the Blues. Kind of missing pitches he knows he can hammer, but he documents every single at-bat, every single pitch he has in a personal notebook in the dugout. Jordan swings and hits it off the catcher Clisby for strike 2. 1-2 to the former UT Austin Longhorn. Not something super strange you see in baseball, especially nowadays. More and more hitters documenting the pitches they see as pitchers get better and smarter. And if you're going to play SEC ball like Don Jordan, you got to be on top of your game and get in the mind of the pitcher. 1-2. Jordan pops it up to left center field. Johnson and Jenkins both charge, and they get called off by the shortstop. Meadow makes an over-the-shoulder grab. What a play by Jared Medham. That pop-up was destined for no man's land. Jenkins and Johnson just kind of looked at each other to see who was going to catch it first, and out of nowhere, Medham calls him off and makes the over-the-shoulder catch. So we'll pop up out to the shortstop, and it's the first out of the 4th inning. Here's Gavin Smith, who drove in the first Blues run of the day, an RBI single in the first, and it was Andrew Raymond who takes off to third base. The throw goes down. It's not in time. That 6'5" frame from Raymond makes it a short path to stride over to third base, and he steals a bag, the first one of the summer for Andrew. Now it's Smith, who has driven in Raymond already today, is 1 for 2 with a strikeout looking. Smith hits a bouncing ball to the shortstop Medham, and he'll just go to first, and Ewens can't pick it. He comes off the bag as Andrew Raymond comes in to score. Blues tie the game off an error by the shortstop, Jared Medham. And for how coordinated Medham is at short, we've seen a couple of bad throws from him today. He's been trying to throw from a real hard arm slot, very low to the ground, and we saw it here. He was unable to locate it correctly, pulled Ewens off the bag, and Smith is safe at first base. So Gavin Smith reaches on error as they try to pick back over to first, and it's not in time. Raymond scores. It's 9-9 here in the bottom half, here in the top half of the 4th inning. Comerford watches the first pitch for strike 1. Brendan has had a painful day physically and mentally. Mentally because he struck out swinging in the first, and physically because he was hit on the tricep in the 3rd inning. 0 for 1 day as Comerford swings and grounds it into foul ground on the left side for strike 2. Cade O'Hara hustling to retrieve that baseball as he stands on deck. O'Hara 1 for 2 day with a double in the 3rd. But for right now, it's Brendan Comerford, a Gonzaga commit and former Renegade from Maloney College, who is coming off a season where he was a co-MVP for his squad. Pick over to first, and Smith is back in plenty of time. Nice day here at Monte Vista High School in Walnut Creek. Some new additions to the field, too, including some bleachers out in right field. 0-2. Comerford watches a 4-seamer outside for a ball. And seeing some young fans sitting on top of what might be a storage unit out in right. A C-train. Heard some pretty comical heckling early on in this ball game. 1-2. Comerford pops it up and out of play. We'll do it again at a ball and 2 strikes. Enjoying the sun out here in the East Bay. It was a hot start at first pitch. It was rather warm at 75 degrees, and it's already dropped to 70 just about an hour into today's ball game. Comerford swings and foul tips it into the mitt of Clisby for strike 3. Comerford goes down swinging, and it's the second out of the fourth inning. So now it's Cade O'Hara, who manhandled a double in the left center gap the last time he was up, and eventually came around to score on that Kosei Suzuki bases clearing double. O'Hara starting to find his power swing as well this summer. First pitch, and O'Hara lines it into the fence behind home plate for strike 1. Cade went hitless in his 7 at-bats with the Longhorns in his freshman season in 2023. The 0-1, and O'Hara leaves a fastball in the other half for strike. After that, his reps really leaned more towards the pitching side at UT Austin. After pitching in relief for Dean Traynor in the summer of 23, he found a route with the Longhorns as he flinches on a pitch above the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Cade O'Hara. A primary infielder that he was recruited as an infielder at UT Austin. Pick over to first. And again, Smith back in time. Trelly Caruso stands on deck. And catcher with 2 outs and no shin guards. I see that a lot. O'Hara pops it up. Another foul ball out of play, 1-2. Cade trying to move the runner over at least, as Gavin Smith at first base represents the go-ahead run for San Luis Obispo. 9-9 game at the top of the 4th. Smith tied it as he brought in Raymond with an error by Medham. And a fastball missing outside, 2-2. Didn't miss by much to O'Hara as he takes a deep breath and gets back in the batter's box. Bullpen empty for both parties. On the 2-2 count to Cade. O'Hara pops it up to the right again, heading towards the Walnut Creek bullpen. It'll be out of play, and again, a 2-2 count to Cade O'Hara. Conservative lead at first. And O'Hara spits on a fastball high and outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nice at bat here for Cade. Coming up on pitch number 8 against Max Cohen. Here it is. And O'Hara grounds it on the left side. Leininger's got it. Hard throw across the diamond. It is in time. And the side is retired. But the Blues tie the game on a Jared Medham throwing error at short. 9-9 heading to the bottom half of the 4th inning on the Slow Blues streaming network. New pitcher for the Blues. Chase Rogers' day is done after just a third innings pitch, 2 hits, a run it was earned, no walks and no strikeouts. It's the Bulldog from Allen Hancock College, Jaden Turner, who has been one of the most electrifying pitchers in this Blues staff. Here's the first pitch, and it bounces on top of home plate to Joey Donnelly. Donnelly, Jenkins, and Coupland due up in this frame for the Crawdads. Clisby ended an inning for the second time this game, and so 7, 8, 9 are due up. Here's another bouncing pitch missing low. 2 balls and no strikes to Donnelly, who was 1 for 1 today. A single in the second and came around to score, and a walk in the third. He scored there too. Turner making his 5th appearance as Donnelly puts it on the ground to the right. Suzuki drops to a knee and throws it to first. Comerford comes off the bag, but in time is the throw. And our ground ball out from Kosei Suzuki. There's the first out of the inning. And Suzuki might have just thought that throw a little bit too much going over to first. You're kind of in an in-between spot at second base where you could flip it or you could throw it hard, and you're kind of in no man's land. And Suzuki kind of did a combination of both. Took Comerford off the bag, but was able to stay on just in enough time to retire Donnelly as the first pitch to Sam Jenkins is lined out of play for strike 1. Jaden making his 5th appearance, 7 in a third innings pitch, 5 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned, a walk and 12 strikeouts. There's ball 1 to Sam Jenkins, 1-1. And Turner leads the team in Ks as the 1-1 is a 4-seamer in there for a strike. Hawk Hill is second in strikeouts with 11, but he's also pitched in 5 more innings. 1-2, changeup missing low. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Jaden Turner. Now here's Jenkins, who reached on an error in the second and struck out swinging in the third. He came around to score in that second inning where the Crawdads put up 4 runs. Pitch yanked in the dirt and hit off the foot of Jenkins. Second hit by pitch issued today by the Blues staff, and it puts a runner at first with 1 out in the 4th. That's back-to-back innings, too, where a Crawdads hitter has been hit. So a runner at first and 1 out for Joe Coupland, who's having a pretty good day. A 2 RBI single in the second and a walk in the third. He scored both times on base. First pitch, and Coupland watches a fastball in there for a strike. Joe just played his first season at Chabot Community College and was a stud. 265 average, 556 slugging. Curveball hangs in front of Coupland's eyes. 1 ball and 1 strike to Joe. 362 on base. Barely struck out more than he walked. 17 Ks compared to his 15 walks. Runner on first. Here's the 1-1. And Coupland watches a 4-seamer high again. 2 balls and 1 strike. Heading into today's game, he was 1 for 3 with a homer, a solo shot, and been able to collect another base hit, score a run, and cash in 2. Coupland hits it hard the opposite way to Suzuki. He drops to a knee, flips to second for 1. O'Hara launches it to first. In time, a double play. Kate O'Hara gets Turner out of the jam with the 4-6-3 DP. Game tied at 9, heading into the 5th inning on the Slow Blues streaming network. First time today, the Walnut Creek Crawdads have been shut out. At the bottom of the fourth inning, Jaden Turner came in to pitch, and the Blues turned a 4-6-3 double play, finished off by a strong throw from Kate O'Hara at shortstop. So now 8-9-1 are due up for the SLO Blues. Charlie Caruso leads it off. First pitch, and Caruso watches it low for ball one. Max Cohen back into the game. He replaced Brady Wilson in the pass frame, who went 2 2/3 and allowed 4 earned runs. Caruso hits it on the ground to the right side. Ewens has got it and will tap first base himself for the first out of the inning. And Caruso was just a couple inches away down the first baseline from recording his first hit in a Blues uniform. Ewens was there for the unassisted putout, and now it's Kosei Suzuki, who has had somewhat of an interesting day at the ballpark. 2 throwing errors in 1 inning, turns around and hits a bases-clearing double as he puts it in play on the left side here. Here's Medham, who's had a nice day at short. Makes the throw. It's low, but Ewan scoops it out of the dirt. 2 quick and easy outs from Max Cohen, and that will flip it to the top of the lineup in E.J. Royal. And aside from that bases-clearing double and the couple of throwing errors, Suzuki has just been getting a lot of action at second base. These Crawdad hitters, albeit a lot of them are left-handed, are going the opposite way. At least the righties are. The lefties are pulling, and the righties are waiting for it. So here's E.J. Royal, who recorded his first base hit of the day back in the 3rd inning. He's first pitch swinging, and an easy out to retire the side. Royal still hobbling. Medham hit him with a throw earlier in this game, back in the 3rd, and it's still tied at 9. Very quick top half of the inning. Halfway through from Monte Vista High School on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top of the order due up for the Walnut Creek Crawdads. A tied game in the bottom half of the 5th. Trey Johnson, Jared Medham, and Ryan Ellis due up for the Dads. Jaden Turner's first pitch to Johnson misses low and outside for ball one. Trey is hitless today. The left fielder grounded out to Suzuki, lined out to left, and popped out to the third baseman Artois, who made a great play scaling the wall in foul ground. Johnson now in a 2-0 count from Jaden Turner. The pitch. Hard liner down the right field line and foul, almost taking the head off Brennan Comerford at first base. And a hard strike one to Johnson, who is a Walnut Creek native, staying in his hometown, and a Warrior from Skyline Community College. This past season with the Trojans was his first year of college baseball. Put up some pretty good numbers. .331 average, .461 on base, and a .493 slugging. 2-1. Changeup flutters in there for strike two. On top of that, 30 walks to his 17 strikeouts, a ratio you don't commonly see in today's game. Here's a 2-2 from Jaden Turner. Fastball missing high, fills it up at 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Trey Johnson is all too familiar with the Crawdads, too. He's been hanging out with this team since he was in high school. Payoff. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Jaden Turner blows the fastball by Trey Johnson. A second strikeout of the day. Jaden Turner's first. And it begins the 5th inning. So here's Jared Medham now. Has had an eventful day at shortstop. First pitch. And Medham swings and grounds it to the shortstop O'Hara, who feels it off the weird bounce from the mound and throws it over to Comerford at first in time. Turner records out number 2 on just one pitch, and just like the last frame, 2 quick outs here for the Crawdads. Now it's Ryan Ellis. Ellis hit an RBI single back in the first inning to record the first Crawdads run of the day. Also walked and was hit by a pitch. He came around to score when he was plunked by a fastball in the 3rd. He's also one of the 2 Crawdads batters to be hit today. The 0-1, and Ellis spits on a sweeper, but it's a called strike 0-2. Turner working quickly, getting back on the mound in the windup. He shakes off Caruso, now delivers. Fastball off the hands, a slow roll to Suzuki at second, who will easily flip it over to first in time. Quick and easy 1-2-3 inning for Jaden Taylor. That 5th inning had to have lasted, 5 minutes? We head into the 6th, tied at 9 on the Slow Blues streaming network. Top of the 6 is brought to you by our friends at SLO County Golf. They offer 3 courses in SLO, Morro Bay, and Atascadero, and they also offer a unique combination of beautiful scenery and affordable prices. Book your next tee time at slowcountygolf.com. Ardois shows bunt. He gets it down. It hugs the third base line, and it's perfectly executed. Ardois with a bunt single kicks off the 6th inning in a tied game at 9 apiece. And that was just textbook. If you're a coach of any level watching what Sam Ardois just did, you are licking your chops, and I know you're going to be showing this footage to your ball players in the next few days. So Ardois is aboard, a leadoff bunt single, and here's Andrew Raymond. Raymond recorded his first hit in a Blues uniform the last time he was up, and he swings and hammers it into right field here. Donnelly circles it and makes the flat-footed grab as Ardois retreats back to first base. The right fielder, Donnelly, hearing it from a section out in right, a newly placed section in the right field fence here at Monte Vista High School. A couple of fans hanging out in their lawn chairs on top of a storage container. A classic summer ball vibe. It's gritty out here in Monte Vista. Throw over to first, and Ardois is back in time standing. So a fly ball out to right. There's one gone with a runner on first, and it's Don Jordan, who is 2 for 3 today, a couple of singles and a run scored. First pitch, and Jordan hits it off the hands and fouls it out of play for strike 1. And you can just tell Jordan's eyes got huge on that fastball. He saw it up in the zone, and you know anytime he gets a pitch in the strike zone, he's going to get to hacking. He did so that time, but just couldn't quite time it out correctly. So he now stands in an 0-1 count against Max Cohen. The lefty picks over to first, and Ardois once again standing on the base. On deck, it's Gavin Smith for the Blues. He drove in the first one of the day, back in the first inning. Since then, offensive chaos. 9-9 here. Ardois heads to second base. Jordan swings. The throw is offline. It's a stolen base for Sam Ardois. Jordan apologizes for the reckless hack on a fastball up in the zone, and now in an 0-2 count. Runner in scoring position for Don. That's the go-ahead run in Sam Ardois. He was playing some textbook small ball with that bunt single and the stolen base. 0-2. Jordan swings and misses for strike 3. Changeup on the outer half. Gets Don Jordan to chase. 2 outs following the bunt single from Ardois, and that brings up Gavin Smith. Smith, a Harvard man, is 1 for 3 today. The aforementioned RBI single in the first, a strikeout looking in the third, and he reached on error in the fourth, but Andrew Raymond came in to score on that error. He catches a barrel here to center field. Jenkins giving chase at the fence. It one-hops the wall. Gavin Smith trades places with Sam Ardois with a stand-up double. Blues take the lead off the extra base hit from Gavin Smith. And just like that, St. Louis Obispo back on top, 10-9 Blues. Scoring Sam Ardois from second base, and here's Brandon Comerford. First pitch, and Comerford leaves a curveball outside for ball 1. Gavin Smith comes in the clutch with 2 outs and has driven in 2 runs today with 2 hits. Comerford trying to do the same here. Dribbler in front of the Blues dugout for strike 1. 1-1 to Brendan, who has struck out swinging twice today. He was also hit by a pitch in the forearm back in the 3rd inning. Playing first base today and batting 6th. Long hold. Here's the 1-1. Comerford, a big swing and a miss on a changeup outside, 1-2. Tough with 2 now is Brendan Comerford, with Kate O'Hara standing on deck and Gavin Smith at second base. Comerford pops it up and out of play, staying alive in the at-bat. We'll do it again at a ball and 2 strikes to Brendan. Entering today's game, Comerford has struck out 15 times compared to his 8 walks. But then you couple those 8 walks with the 6 hit by pitches, and that on base is looking good at 446. 1-2. Comerford hits a laser right to the shortstop, Medham, who can't glove it, and hustles to the ball and makes the throw in time. Brandon Comerford retired, but not before Gavin Smith takes the lead on an RBI double to score Sam Ardois from second base. And to the bottom of the 6th we go on the Slow Blues streaming network. Jaden Tanner heads back out there in what is now a 10-9 lead for the Slow Blues. And on the first pitch to John Ewens, he gets a swing and a miss on a slider for strike 1. An RBI double from Gavin Smith scored Sam Ardois from second. And now a changeup to Ewens is missing low and outside, a ball and a strike. Ewens is 2 for 3 today with a couple of RBI singles. And he swings and misses here for strike 2. The 4-hole hitter playing first base. John Ewens locks in a 2-strike count. The pitch. Slider taken for strike 3. Ewens didn't like it, and he goes down looking. The first out of the 6th inning. Second strikeout of the day for Jaden Turner, bolstering that team lead in strikeouts. So here is Riley Leininger, who is 1 for 2. An RBI single in the third, a walk, and a line out to the shortstop, Kate O'Hara. First pitch, and Leininger is late on a fastball for strike 1. Riley from Georgetown, Texas, a 6'2", 220-pound redshirt freshman who redshirted his first year at Oklahoma. Changeup missing low, 1 ball and 1 strike to Leininger. In the transfer portal now, looking for a new place to call home. He can play first and he can play third, a corner infielder. Bouncing ball the opposite way, O'Hara backhands it, fires over to first, and Comerford stretches in time. 2 quick outs for Jaden Turner. The tempo has increased ever since Turner comes in, and that's just how he likes to work. A quick working pitcher, that is always fun to play defense behind because it's so easy to lock in pitch to pitch. You're not picking dandelions, you're not looking around, you're locked in for everything. Already the first pitch to Brandon Clisby is a taken strike on the inner half. Clisby bounces it in front of home plate. Turner's got it, and he can't get a grip in time. 3-foot base hit for Brandon Clisby with 2 outs in the 6th. No harm done for Jaden Turner. He can still get a ground ball. They can get the force out at second base, or he could collect his 3rd strikeout of the afternoon. Either way, it's Joey Donnelly, who's 1 for 2 today, a single, a walk, and 2 runs scored. The pitch, and Donnelly lines it on the ground and into right field for a base hit. It catches a lip, and Raymond fields it. The runner goes into third. Clisby goes first to third on a Joey Donnelly single. Back-to-back base hits for the Crawdads, and the go-ahead run is standing at first. The tying run is 90 feet away. Second base hit of the day for Donnelly, and with 2 outs, up comes Sam Jenkins. Jenkins, one of the 2 Crawdads hitters today to not record a base hit. And trailing by 1, a base hit here would be huge for this squad. The first pitch, and Jenkins flinches on a sweeper missing inside for ball 1. Jenkins has struck out, reached on air, and was hit by a pitch in the 4th. He scored 1 run and stole a base. The redshirt freshman and Baylor Bear on the 1-0. Takes a fastball in the lower half for strike 1. Utilized that red shirt in his first season playing Big 12 baseball in Waco, Texas for Baylor. A native of Dallas, Texas, and a graduate of Trinity Christian Academy. The pitch misses outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Turner tried to get an offering from Jenkins on a pitch on the outer half, but there's no go. Runners at first and third. Blues lead 10-9. Bottom half of the 6th inning. Here's Sam Jenkins. He swings and hits it the opposite way and into left field. A run will score. Crawdads tie the game on an RBI single from Sam Jenkins. Jaden Turner recorded 2 quick outs, and then after 3 base hits, it's a 10-10 ball game in the 6th. So here's Joe Coupland now. A runner in scoring position. And 1 at first. Coupland watches a sweeper, and it's a ball just missing outside. Raf Shirella getting loose in the Blues bullpen. He pitched yesterday against the Seagulls. The 1-0. And Coupland watches it bounce on top of home plate. 2 balls and no strikes. 10-10 ball game. An RBI single from Sam Jenkins has tied it here in the 6th. With 2 outs, Turner comes set from the stretch. And from the waist delivers. 2-0, ground ball to third. Artois got it, and he will tap third for the force out. And the side is retired, but not before the Crawdads tie the game. Sam Jenkins ties it up with his first hit of the day. 10-10 into the 7th inning on the Slow Blues streaming network. Top of the 7th here at Monte Vista High School in Walnut Creek, California, and a new ball game tied at 10 apiece following an RBI single from Walnut Creek's Sam Jenkins. 10-10, and Kate O'Hara leads it off for the Blues. The first pitch to O'Hara is left outside for ball 1. Kate today is 1 for 3, a double in the 3rd, and a couple of ground ball outs. The pitch from Cohen, and O'Hara watches a four-seamer down the middle of the plate for strike 1. O'Hara got a hold of that double in the left center gap, almost hit a goose that was standing out there in the outfield grass. O'Hara goes the opposite way on a high fly ball to right. Donnelly in foul territory won't have a play, and that's strike 2 to Kate O'Hara. Kate, the starting shortstop today, has made a couple of nice plays over at that spot, showing off that dazzling arm as usual. An arm good enough to have him be a pitcher as well. 1-2. O'Hara, soft grounder the opposite way. The first baseman, Ewens, has got it. They'll flip over to first, and the pitcher, Cohen, wins the foot race for the first out of the inning. Ewens flipped it off in time, and Cohen tapped the bag before Cade. That brings up Charlie Caruso. Caruso making his Blues debut today and is still in search for his first hit in a Blues uniform. A Southern Californian from Pasadena, playing at Northwestern. First pitch, and Caruso pops it up on the left side of the infield. The shortstop met him, calls everyone off, and makes the running grab for the quick second out of the inning. 2 gone for Kosei Suzuki. Suzuki, one of the biggest moments of this ball game for the Blues, a bases-clearing double back in the 3rd. That gave the Blues an 8-5 lead, and clearly the tables have turned ever since then. The Crawdads clawed back. It's 10-10 and the top half of the 7th. First pitch, and Kosei leaves a fastball low for ball 1. Suzuki trying to go back to his Frank Phillips self. He had a crazy career of junior college baseball there in Texas as he leaves a pitch high, 2-0. A career .601 slugging, a career .327 average, and .388 on-base percentage. 2-0. And Suzuki leaves it high and outside. 3 straight balls to the Kuki, Japan native. Suzuki hit the most hits and home runs of any Japanese-born JUCO player this past season, and he draws a 2-out walk here to keep the 7th inning alive. Suzuki reaches on the base on balls, and that brings up E.J. Royal. Royal kind of hobbling up to home plate off a play that happened earlier in this game in the 3rd inning. Royal at first base, slid into second, and Medham tried to get a force out there from shortstop. The throw to the second baseman, Ellis, went a little wide, and it hit flush on the shin of E.J. Royal. Ever since then, the speed has gone down, and kind of gingerly walking around. He put a ball in play the last time he was up in the fifth inning. It was a ground ball out to the shortstop, Medham, and you could kind of see as he reached the halfway point, running down 90 feet to first base, kind of geared down and hobbled into the bag. Still in the game, though, still playing center field and still leading off for the Blues. And it looks like a right-hander is getting loose in the bullpen for Walnut Creek. Dylan McShane at 6'9", 235 pounds. So after a meeting at the mound, Max Cohen is ready. E.J. Royal takes his time digging in. Fans out in right field, sitting on top of the storage container, now standing up. Anticipating a big moment from E.J. Royal in a tied game. Cohen comes set with a runner on first, and the lefty will throw over to Ewens. Suzuki back in time. Royal 1 for 3 today, an RBI single in the third, and a couple ground ball outs to the shortstop, Medham. First pitch, and Royal takes outside 1-0. EJ in the transfer portal after a couple of seasons at Utah Tech. A career .220 hitter with the Bison. 51 hits and 232 at-bats. 1-0, and there's a called strike to even the count at 1-1. Before that, a Cougar at Cuesta College. Played in a couple seasons there. And a Blue last year, too. A throw over to first, and Suzuki back in plenty of time. The Blues' best hitter, might I add, last summer, too. Started in 36 games, a .381 average, a .459 on base, and a .497 slugging. Runner goes. Here comes the throw to second base. Suzuki with the head first slide, and he's out. Kosei Suzuki is caught stealing. E.J. Royal takes his time heading out of the batter's box, and the side is retired. Game still tied at 10 apiece. It's time to stretch here from Monte Vista High School on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom of the seventh here at Monte Vista High School is brought to you by Educational Employees Credit Union. Proudly serving the Central Coast, EECU is located in Paso Robles and can be found at myeecu.com. Experience smarter banking at Educational Employees Credit Union. First batter that Jaden Turner will face this inning is leadoff man Trey Johnson, who pops it up and out of play behind home plate. 1-1 to the leadoff man Johnson, who is 0 for 4 today. Struck out swinging to begin the fifth. A quick 1-2-3 inning there for the Blues defense. Tied game at 10 as a curveball misses low. 2 balls and a strike to Johnson. Trey also grounded out to Suzuki, lined out to Smith and left, and popped out to Ardois at third. A nice play scaling the wall. 2-1. Ground ball to the right side. Comerford off his wrist will flip it to first, and Turner is there in plenty of time to get the first out. A nice job by Brendan Comerford staying with that grounder. It kind of took a wicked hop off his forearm and stayed in front of it, and Turner did a nice job getting to the bag too. Good teamwork there to get the first out of the inning. So here's Jared Medham now. 2 hits on the day. He's 2 for 4. One of his singles drove in a run back in the third. First pitch to him, and Medham checks his swing on a sweeper. It's a called strike either way. 0-1 with 1 out. Bottom of the 7th, tied at 10. From the windup, here's Turner. And Medham watches a four-seamer nipping the bottom half for strike 2. And timeout is called at home plate as Turner working quickly. Medham needs a breather. And Jared entered this game with a 4 for 12 summer. He's making his 3rd appearance for the Crawdads. No extra base hits, but has driven in 7. And Medham leaves a four-seamer high. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jared Medham, this Half Moon Bay, California native, and Gale from St. Mary's, entering his 4th season there. The 1-2. Medham pops it up into right field. Raymond giving chase in front of the warning track, and he circles his fly ball and makes the catch for the second out of the inning. 2 outs now in the 7th for the 3-hole hitter, Ryan Ellis. Ellis is 1 for 2, an RBI single in the first, a walk, a hit by pitch, and a ground ball out to Suzuki. First offering bounces on top of home plate, and Caruso keeps it in front 1-0. Ellis from Peoria, Arizona. And he swings here. A high pop out to center. Royal gets underneath it and makes the catch camped underneath the baseball for the 3rd out of the inning. A quick frame for Jaden Turner once again. We head into the 8th inning, notched at 10 on the Slow Blues streaming network. Eighth inning, and fans, it's time to throw down for a hoedown at Sinsheimer on June 19th. Show up to the ballpark in blue for the Blues game against the Arroyo Seco Saints in Western-themed attire for 50% off your tickets. Giddy up to Western Night on June 19th. E.J. Royal leads it off against the new pitcher for the Walnut Creek Crawdads, and he takes strike 1 against Dylan McShane. He's a righty from the University of the Pacific. Didn't compete last season, utilizing a redshirt year, but before that played for the Oregon Ducks for 2 years. 0-1, and Royal leaves it outside, a ball and a strike. His freshman season in 2023, he made 21 appearances out of the bullpen as a true freshman, a 9 earned run average, 34 runs, 21 earned. The 1-1. Royal swings and hits it hard into right center field. Donnelly and Jenkins giving chase, and Donnelly can't catch it in right. E.J. Royal limping into second base off the Schinberger he took in the third. A double for E.J. Royal, a misplacement from Donnelly in right as it one-hopped the wall. Leadoff extra bases for E.J., and the second base hit of the day for Royal brings up Sam Ardois. There's the go-ahead run, and Royal will exit this game a pinch runner. Looks like Diego Murillo over at second base now. Murillo, like E.J. Royal, a Cuesta Cougar, a former Cuesta Cougar, at second base, and interested to see how Dean Traynor rearranges the outfield with E.J. Royal now out of the game. Here's Sam Ardois as he shows bunt, and he pops it up in front of home plate. The pitcher, McShane, makes the sliding catch. One of the worst feelings in baseball, when you pop up a bunt and the pitcher and or catcher makes the play. Ardois with a beautiful bunt single in the 6th inning to start off that frame. Eventually came around to score the tying run. Can't replicate that here. So it's a pop-up bunt to the pitcher, McShane, and now it's Andrew Raymond who hit a double for his first Blues hit in the 4th. Murillo at second, he's the go-ahead. First pitch, and Raymond leaves it high. 1 ball, no strikes. Clisby had to come out of his squat to get there. Double barrel action for the Blues in the bullpen. Cade O'Hara and Raf Shirella getting hot for San Luis Obispo. McShane comes set from the belt. A peek at second, now delivers. And Raymond swings and misses for strike 1. Aggressive lead and aggressive secondary at second base for Murillo, who's got some good speed over there. Raymond trying to find a gap with his team tied at 10 in the top of the 8th. 2 times at second. Now 3, and comes home. 4-seamer missing high. 2 balls and 1 strike to Raymond. This is Andrew Raymond's first game in a Blues uniform. Arrived yesterday to Lara Field against the Seagulls. Didn't play, but today's the first start for Raymond, and he's reached base twice today and has scored 2 runs. 2-1. Raymond dances out of the way of a 4-seamer inside. 3 balls and 1 strike now to Raymond. Don Jordan stands on deck. He's got a couple of base hits today. The Blues, big boppers due up in the top of the 8th inning. In a time where they need it most, tied at 10. The 3-1. And Raymond takes all the way for ball 4. 1 out walk for Andrew Raymond. And that brings up Don Jordan. Jordan, who battled a handful of injuries at Texas this past season, is playing competitive baseball for the first time in 8+ months. Broke a hamate bone in the fall in his hand. Came back in the spring with the Longhorns and broke a rib. Now here with the Blues, and he leaves the first offering high and outside for ball 1. Jordan was also hit by a pitch in game 1 of this 4-game road series in the forearm. And there was questions about whether he'd return to game 2 because he left the game right after that. 1-0. 4-seamer high and the throw over to first. Raymond back in time. 2 balls and no strikes to Don Jordan, a fastball hunter. The only thing with Don is he's just got to get that timing on, because when he gets a pitch he likes, he gets to hacking. It goes a long ways when he catches barrels. Murillo at second, the 2-0. Jordan leaves that pitch outside, but it's a called strike. 2-1 to Don Jordan, and not a pitch you love in a 2-0 count like that, so not the worst thing in the world that he took there. Don's got plenty of pull side power, and that's what he's looking for here against the big righty McShane. Jordan flinches, but the pitch misses high. 3 balls and 1 strike to Don Jordan, the former Texas Longhorn, now in the transfer portal. Adding to his resume this summer with the Blues as he garners interest from SEC schools. The 3-1, and Jordan dodges a fastball inside for ball 4. Second walk in a row issued from Dylan McShane, and it loads the bases for Gavin Smith. Smith recorded an RBI double in the 6th inning to score Sam Ardois and tie the game, and now a meeting between the battery at home plate. On the mound, and Clisby will come back to get ready for this at-bat against Gavin Smith. Diego Murillo at third, Andrew Raymond at second, and Don Jordan at first. Murillo and Jordan with some good speed. Jordan the fastest runner on the roster. Raymond still to be determined. A pitch high and tight to Smith is a called ball. Gavin also had an RBI single back in the first. That scored the first Blues run of the day. He cashed in Raymond from second base. 1-0. And Smith, a little tardy on a four-seamer here, sending it right back into the fence. 1 ball and 1 strike. Smith, though off to a slow start this summer, the right guy for the job. He's seen it well today. 2 hits, both driving in runs. 1 for extra bases. Fastball missing high. 2 balls and 1 strike to Gavin Smith. Cam Krogan now getting hot in that Walnut Creek bullpen with the bases loaded. Just 1 out in the top of the 8th. Blues threatening. And a tied game at 10. 2-1. And Smith dribbles it down the third base line and foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brendan Comerford awaits on deck. Sun setting here in the East Bay. Blues trying to get a win before darkness. The 2-2. And Smith swings and pops it up into shallow left field. Johnson is giving chase. He gets called off by Medham. Murillo fake tagged at third, and he will stay at his station. So a pop out to the shortstop, Jared Medham, who is playing a lot of rangy defense today, is the second out of the 8th inning, and that brings up Brendan Comerford. And Comerford, who has been struggling as of late, especially with the strikeouts, would be a big moment for him here to turn that around. 2 outs to Brendan Comerford. Here's the first pitch. Brendan swings and misses for strike 1. Comerford, 2 strikeouts today, was hit by a pitch and grounded out to the shortstop, Medham. From the windup, here's McShane. Comerford swings and is a little late on a fastball here, sending it straight back for strike 2. Cade O'Hara stands on deck. He just finished warming up in the bullpen. Murillo at third, Raymond at second, and Jordan at first. 0-2. Comerford swings and misses for strike 3. Crawdads get out of the bases loaded jam, and they cap it off with a strikeout swinging to Brendan Comerford. Comerford's 3rd K of the day. Still tied at 10, heading to the bottom half of the 8th inning on the Slow Blues streaming network. Bottom of the 8th inning, and the Blues could not capitalize in a bases-loaded situation. Game still tied at 10 apiece. Jaden Turner heads back out there, and he'll face 4-5-6, the heart of this Walnut Creek lineup, and miss outside on a changeup to John Ewens, who has hit 2 flare singles today and struck out looking in the 6th. Fastball this time dotted on the lower half of the zone. 1-1 to Ewens. John also hit a ground ball out off the lower back of the starting pitcher, Bagby, who got it to first in time. As Ewens leaves another pitch outside. 2 balls and a strike now to John. Ewens represents the go-ahead run for Walnut Creek, trying to get on any way, anyhow. Here's a dribbler in front of the Walnut Creek dugout for strike 2. 2-2 to Ewens, a native of Waco, Texas, who stayed in town to play for the Baylor Bears. The 2-2. Ewens swings and hits a hard liner into center field. It falls fast, and it falls in front of Raymond for a base hit. A top-spinning line drive and a leadoff single for John Ewens in the 8th. Third base hit of the day for the first baseman from Baylor. And that puts the go-ahead runner on first. So now here's Riley Leininger. Leininger is 1 for 3 today, an RBI single in the 3rd. Grounded out to short and lined out to O'Hara at short 2. First pitch to him is high and outside for ball 1. Leininger entered today's game 5 of 17 with 2 runs batted in and no extra base hits. 3 walks to his 2 strikeouts. The pitch, and he hits a ground ball to Murillo at second. They'll flip it to O'Hara at first for 1, and he turns the double play in time. Cade O'Hara has a bazooka over at shortstop. They flip 2, and that'll bring up Brandon Clisby. So Murillo replaces Suzuki at second base. O'Hara still at short. Suzuki is now in center. And Clisby takes the first pitch fastball for a strike. Brandon has 1 hit today, back in the 6th inning, and he came around to score on a Sam Jenkins RBI single, which tied the game. Clisby flinches on a slider that misses low, 1 ball and 1 strike. A lot of movement there from Jaden Turner. A very enticing pitch, but a better take from Clisby. Here's the 1-1. Fastball low and outside. 2 balls and a strike now to Brandon Clisby. Clisby from Alamo, California, and a Cowboy from New Mexico State. 2-1 is popped up, and Caruso won't have a play behind home plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Clisby redshirted his first season at New Mexico State. He graduated from Monte Vista High School, this very field, where he was named the 2024 Conference Offensive Player of the Year. Clisby hits a bouncing ball up the middle, and it rolls into center field for a base hit. Crawdads get the go-ahead run back on first base. That's the 2nd hit of the day for Clisby, and up comes Joey Donnelly. Donnelly 2 of 3 today. A pair of singles and a ground ball out to Suzuki at second. First pitch from Turner is hit on the ground off to the right side. It catches a lip and it rolls into right field. Going first to third is Clisby. The throw comes in. Ardois got it. They'll go to second, and the tag is not in time. Joey Donnelly advances to second on the throw from Raymond in right field. It puts 2 runners in scoring position for the Dads. Back-to-back base hits. And 2 runners in scoring position. Crawdads are boiling. After recording the 4-6-3 double play, Clisby and Donnelly have singled. And out comes Dean Traynor to talk to Jaden Turner. Sam Jenkins is due up. He tied the game with an RBI single back in the 6th. Ralph Shirella and Spencer Galloway getting hot in the Blues bullpen. Double barrel at action on the away side. 10-10 ball game and the bottom half of the 8th inning. 2 outs for Jaden Turner with runners on second and third. A meeting at the mound disperses, and we're ready to go. And it's Jenkins, a Texas native from Dallas, who redshirted his first season with the Baylor Bears. Another Big 12 hitter coming from Waco with John Ewens. First pitch to Jenkins is swung on and taken below the zone for ball one. Jenkins, a great athlete, can play the corner outfield, a speed and a power threat. He's already had a home run and a double this summer. The 1-0. Jenkins swings and hits a liner the opposite way. Smith going back, and he makes the grab. Gavin Smith turned the wrong way, lost it in the sun, and tracked it at the last second to retire the side. Still tied at 10 as we head into the ninth inning on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top of the ninth inning is brought to you by Ancient Owl Beer Garden and Bottle Shop, your go-to spot for every Blues road game. Located just around the corner from Sinsheimer, Ancient Owl is the official home of the Blues Watch Party all season long. Ancient Owl, choose your beer wisely. And a hello to everyone watching from Ancient Owl Brewery right now. 7-8-9 due up for the Blues, a tied game at the top of the ninth inning, 10-10 between San Luis Obispo and Walnut Creek. Cade O'Hara, first pitch to him, misses low and outside for ball one. Dylan McShane heads back out there for his second inning of work, a big-bodied right-hander from the University of Pacific. 1-0. O'Hara spits on a four-seamer outside, 2 balls and no strikes. O'Hara recorded a double back in the third. It was hammered in the left center gap. He eventually came around to score on a bases-clearing double from Kosei Suzuki. The 2-0. O'Hara takes a fastball in the outer half for strike one, a 50-50 call, but O'Hara is still up in the count, 2-1. Cade was warming up in the bullpen last inning, but stays at shortstop. Another take from O'Hara outside, 3 balls and a strike. Cade just trying to get on base anyhow, anyway. Both sides desperate for runs, tied at 10. An offensive explosion early on has come to a screeching halt in the later third. And Cade takes a fastball here for strike 2. O'Hara has yet to take the bat off his shoulders in this at-bat. He's left no choice here in a 3-2 count. Here's the best stuff from McShane. O'Hara swings and fouls it straight back. We'll do it again at 3-2. Charlie Caruso stands on deck for the Blues, the left-handed hitting catcher from Northwestern. But for now, it's O'Hara and a battle against Dylan McShane, the former Oregon Duck turned Tiger of University of Pacific. The payoff. O'Hara takes a sweeper for strike 3. Cade O'Hara goes down looking as McShane nibbles at the corner. Oh, here's Charlie Caruso trying to make a good first impression on these SLO Blues fans. Hitless today so far, but he was hit by a pitch in the third and eventually came around to score. First offering And Crusoe swings and hits a grounder off the end of the bat to Ellis, who gobbles it up from second and throws it to first in time. 2 quick outs here for Dylan McShane, and that brings up the 9-hole hitter in Kosei Suzuki. Suzuki started the day at second base and has since moved to center field after E.J. Royal was pinch run for Diego Murillo, who stands on deck right now. Suzuki, a utility player from Japan. First pitch to him. He swings and hits a hard grounder to the shortstop Medham, who gets the lucky pick and the throw over to first in time. 1, 2, 3 inning for the Blues in the top half of the 9th inning. And potentially the last chance for the Dads. Will they walk it off against the Blues and continue into a 6-game winning streak? Find out next on the Slow Blues Streaming Network. Similar. New pitcher in for the Slow Blues. It's Spencer Gallimore trying to close out the Crawdads here. A game tied at 10 apiece. Bottom of the 9th inning. 9-1-2 due up for Walnut Creek. Jaden Turner's day is done. After 5 innings of work, 6 hits, 1 run it was earned, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. Here's Joe Coupland, who has driven in 2 today with his single. First pitch from Gallimore is a called strike on the outer half. Coupland, the DH, batting 9th. Grounded into a double play. And grounded into a fielder's choice in the 6th. Buckled up on a sweeper here for strike 2. Raf Shirella, the left-hander from Allen Hancock, getting loose in the bullpen. But for now, it's the Cougar from UC Colorado Springs, Spencer Gallimore. From the windup, here's the 0-2. And Coupland hits a hard liner down the first base line and foul. And Gallimore's got some electrifying stuff. He's been one of the better bullpen arms for the Blues this summer. Coming in a high leverage situation, tied at 10 in the bottom of the 9th inning. Scoring stopped in the 6th. The final third has just been a stalemate between these two teams. The 0-2. Coupland takes a fastball for strike 3. Big first out for Spencer Gallimore, and he ties up Joe Coupland for the first out. So now we'll flip it to the top of the order, and Trey Johnson. Johnson, the leadoff man, is the only batter for the Crawdads to not record a hit today. First pitch, And the first pitch swinging, he fouls it off the hands and out of play for strike one. A strikeout, 2 ground ball outs, a line drive out, and a pop out in foul ground. A nice play made by Sam Ardois in foul territory. Gallimore from the windup. The 0-1. Curveball missing inside, a ball and 1 strike. Leadoff man from Walnut Creek, California. A rising sophomore at Skyline Community College where he had a great season with the Trojans. 1-1. Another curveball. This time it's in there for a strike, 1-2. Played in 41 games, Johnson did. A .331 average, a .493 slugging, and a .461 on base. Way more walks and strikeouts. 1-2. Chases on a changeup here for strike 3. Spencer Gallimore with back-to-back Ks. Second strikeout of the day for Trey Johnson. Second strikeout of the day for Spencer Gallimore. 2 gone in the 9th for Jared Medham. And kind of a full circle moment here. Medham with a chance to win his team the ball game after playing just 5 games for the Blues last summer against his former team. Here's the first pitch. Medham, his first pitch swinging. He pops it up. Might be playable for Caruso, the catcher, and in front of the dugout. Can't make the play. New life for Jared Medham. The loyal St. Mary's Gale, who is entering his 4th season playing for the Division I program in the West Coast Conference. And I talk about it a few times. It's not often you see a player in college sports, let alone college baseball, stay loyal to one program for their entire career. But Medham's doing it, and he awaits the 0-1. Fastball missing high and outside, evens the count at 1-1. Medham started in 54 games last season for the Gales, a .297 batting average, and drove in 36 runs on 58 hits. The 1-1. Medham swings, is tardy on a fastball as he hits it off the end of the bat and out of play for strike 2. Medham has struck out 99 times in his college career and has walked 61. 1 strikeout heading into this game. Gallimore tried to get Medham to chase, but missed just a little too wide. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Medham. Waving his stumpy, baby blue-barreled baseball bat in front of his right ear. On the 2-2. Medham stares that changeup down all the way and takes it outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Game tied at 10. In the bottom of the 9th. From the windup, here's the payoff. Medham swings and hits a high drive to deep left field. Suzuki gets called off by Smith, and we have free baseball at Monte Vista High School. Into the 10th inning we go, tied at 10 on the SLO Blues streaming network. extra innings baseball from Monte Vista High School in Walnut Creek, California, with an inherited runner at second base. Kosei Suzuki, via the CCL rulebook, will start at second base in extra innings. Top of the order, due up for the SLO Blues. And a new pitcher, Dylan McShane's day is done for the Dads. 2 innings of work, 1 hit, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. And in comes Cam Krogan, the right-handed pitcher from Pepperdine University, a rising junior with the Wave, who sits high 90s or low 90s, high 80s. A 3-quarter delivery to Diego Murillo, who awaits in the back of the right-handed batter's box. Inside move, no one's at the bag. Kosei Suzuki retreats. Murillo still awaiting the first offer as Ewens and Leininger pinch at the corners. With his axe-handle bat, the first pitch, Murillo shows bunt and pulls it back for ball 1. Clisby doing a nice job backhanding that pitch in the dirt and making sure it doesn't get to the backstop and giving up a free 90 to Suzuki. Murillo in his first at-bat of the day after pinch running for E.J. Royal in the 8th inning. Gets the bunt down, off to the right, and pitcher Krogan will go to first. The throw is slightly offline, but the second baseman Ellis stays on the bag. And check that, that's Ewan staying on the bag, and it moves the runner over to third base. So a sac bunt from Diego Murillo, and now Sam Ardois with a go-ahead run 90 feet away. Ardois, one of the hottest hitters in this Blues lineup right now, has a hit today in the 6th inning, has scored 2 runs and stole a bag as well, and he takes a look at strike 1 here. Ardois in the transfer portal after a season at the University of Louisiana Lafayette, playing in his home state. Born and raised in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Ardois with the half swing, bounce it next to the Crawdads dugout for strike 2. Sam popped out on a bunt to the pitcher McShane the last time he was up. He swings and chops into the backstop here. We'll do it again on 0-2 to Sam Ardois. Returning for a second summer on the Central Coast with the Blues. He chokes up on his bat on the 0-2, and Ardois dribbles it behind home plate again, still in an 0-2 count. The entire infield playing in with a runner at third and 1 out. Kosei Suzuki stands 90 feet away. That's the go-ahead run. 0-2. Ardois, a lazy dribble to the third baseman, Leininger. He goes home. The throw's in time. Big out for Walnut Creek. Out number 2 in the inning, and it was the inherited base runner, Kosei Suzuki. So fielder's choice, Sam Ardois reaches, and there's 2 outs for Andrew Raymond. Big moment for Raymond here in his first game as a Blue. A left-handed hitting outfielder from Santa Clara University. Struggled his first season with the Broncos, but has a chance to get off on the right foot with the Blues. First pitch is a fastball missing inside, 1-0. Ardois at first. Now he's the go-ahead run. Instead of 90 feet, 270 away. Ardois takes off. No one's at second base. The throw is offline, and it goes into center field, but Ardois will stay on the bag. Good hustle by the second baseman, Ellis, to get to that baseball and prevent an extra 90 feet to Ardois. Headsy base running from the former Raging Cajun, and he's now in scoring position for Raymond. Raymond drove in 8 runs this past season with the Broncos at Santa Clara on his 16 hits. Swings and foul tips it into Clisby's mitt for strike 1. In his Blues debut, he digs in the left-handed batter's box. Ardois at second, that's the go-ahead run. The 6'5", 200-pound sophomore, and Raymond foul tips it. Clisby can't glove it. 1-2 to Andrew Raymond. Made 29 starts his first season playing college baseball at Santa Clara. 2 home runs, 2 doubles this past season with the Broncos. The Spokane native dances out of the way of a fastball inside for ball 2. Walnut Creek wanted that call, but they don't get it. It's even at 2-2 to Raymond. Don Jordan stands on deck. Raymond with a double already today and a couple of walks. 2-2. Raymond swings and fouls it straight back into the fence behind home plate. We'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Raymond with his top hand batting glove undone in the left-handed stance. Choking up slightly on the bat. 2-2. Raymond goes down swinging on strikes. Ball gets away. Throw down to first is in there in plenty of time. Into the bottom of the 10th we go. Tied at 10 at Monte Vista High School on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom of the 10th inning here at Monte Vista High School. The Crawdads with a chance to walk it off against the SLO Blues. The automatic runner is at second base, and it's Jared Medham per the CCL rules. That's how they do it in extra innings, and so it's 2-3-4 due up for the Crawdads. Medham with some good speed over at second as the first pitch is a curveball that wrinkles above the zone to Ryan Ellis for ball 1. Ellis, the leadoff man in this inning, had an RBI single back in the 4th and has been hitless ever since. Reached on base 2 more times, though, a walk and a hit by pitch. Ellis chases an elevated fastball here for strike 1. Ellis playing in his 3rd season with the Crawdads after a break in 2025 after he was rehabbing a right knee injury. He returns with the Dads this season on the 1-1, swings and fouls it straight back for strike 2. And he had insane summers with Walnut Creek in 2022 and 23. 1,001 OPS and a 935 OPS respectively. Led the league in doubles and in stolen bases in 2022. 15 doubles and 20 stolen bags. 1-2, runner takes off to third, but Ellis pops it up and out of play to the left. He was an all-star in 2022 and 2023 as well in the CCL. And that knee injury really put a wrench in his baseball career at St. Mary's. Utilized a medical redshirt in 2023 and played at UT Arlington in 24, but didn't make an appearance this past season. Inside move, and no action there. Medham still at second base. Fans out in right field on their feet on top of the storage container. 1-2. Ellis swings and misses for strike 3. Holy curveball from Spencer Gallimore. So with one out now, it's John Ewens. Ewens with a couple of flare singles, both bringing in runs, and hit a single in the 8th inning. First pitch to him, and Ewens swings, and it's a hard line to center field. Raymond can't get there. It drops in front of him, and he clanks it in right. Here comes Medham around third. Raymond gets the ball, and the Crawdads walk it off. RBI single from John Ewens ends the game. A misplacement in right from Andrew Raymond didn't help either. Crawdads take the game 11-10 in the bottom of the 10th inning. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth on the Slow Blue Streaming Network. My name is Nate Mills for SBSN. Final pitch of this one coming at 6:52 p.m. The Blues drop Game 1 against the Walnut Creek Crawdads in this series. They drop Game 3 of this 4-game road trip up in Northern California. This one hurts for the Blues because the bats came alive and the bullpen did pretty much all that they could do this afternoon. Spencer Gallimore looked fantastic on the mound. Jaden Turner wasn't exactly himself in terms of strikeouts, but in 5 innings of work, allowed those 6 hits, but only let 1 run come in to score. A lot of the damage came from Cooper Bagby, who had a very similar line to the one he had in Sonoma. 5 runs, 2 of them earned, 3 of them were earned against the Stompers, and kind of the same thing happening here in 2 innings of work, 2 1/3 innings of work, 6 hits, and 4 walks with 1 strikeout. But you can't put the blame all on Cooper Bagby. There were moments where the Blues could have cashed in. They just couldn't come up with timely hitting when it matters. The Blues certainly hit the ball around the yard, and at a yard like Monte Vista High School, it certainly calls for that. It's a bandbox, but we didn't even see any home runs today. So there's a lot of extra base hits for the Blues, a lot of extra base hits for Walnut Creek too, but the Blues just couldn't come through when it counted. All the scoring came to a screeching halt in the 6th inning. Both teams put up a run each, but then after that, crickets until the bottom of the 10th inning where the Walnut Creek Crawdads won it off a John Ewens single into right field. Raymond's kind of took a funky hop out and right. He couldn't glove it. It went off his wrist, and the runner Medham scored all the way from second into home. And a funny thing, too, is that Medham played for the Blues last season, just played in 5 games, and he comes back to haunt San Luis Obispo, scoring that winning run against the Blues. Well, the Crawdads advance into a 5-1 record in CCL play, and their winning streak grows to 6 in a row. The Blues now fall to 10-5. They are now at an even 500 in CCL. Crawdads maintain their first place spot, and the Blues remain in second place. The Blues do have another chance, though, coming back tomorrow against Walnut Creek at the same time, the same place, the final leg in this 4-game road trip in Walnut Creek. We'll see if they can split the series 2-2. As I said, they should at least do that this week. Thanks for tuning in to the Slow Blue Streaming Network and watching coverage of Blues baseball against the Walnut Creek Crawdads. And thanks for watching the postgame show and everyone watching at Ancient Owl Brewery. My name is Nate Mills, signing off. Have a great rest